Welcome to the Bakercast.
Warning, please keep out of reach of children and for use by adults 21 years of age and older.
This is the Bakercast, the official Jerome Baker Potcast on JeromeBaker.com.
We are the voice of the cannabis community. It's a cannabis revolution right now.
Right.
We're changing the world that we're living in, and it starts with one bud at a time.
Thank you for joining us. This is the Bakercast, the official Jerome Baker Podcast on JeromeBaker.com.
Today we're here with David Irving, number 95. That's right. He's here on the podcast today. He has an amazing story he wants to go ahead and tell us. But first and foremost, where can they find you on your Instagram so folks can go ahead and pull it up right away, follow you, go ahead and click the follow button.
Our next guest looks to be a leading contender.
How y'all doing out there? Hope everyone's doing well. You can find me on Instagram as David Irving, IRVING. Should come right up. I play for the Dallas Cowboys. I quit this year, back in March. A lot of people have questions. A lot of people want to know why. It sounds quite absurd, you know. You have it all, the football dream, and then you just give it up to smoke weed, right? No, we have to maintain our bodies. We play a very physically demanding sport. I mean, not just physically demanding, but socially, mentally, it's a weird animal. And we had to upkeep our bodies. So for pain, you know, you prescribe one thing, for anxiety another. Me, for example, the NFL prescribed me Hydros, Xanax, Ambient, Seroquel, and Gabapentin. However, if I choose to smoke weed to medicate, which, you know, should be legal for me to do since I've had my medical card out in California since you needed one, they take your money, they defame you on a national level, and they actually sent me to rehab for that. I didn't understand it. How are you guys trying to get me to take all these pharmaceuticals here? The opioid epidemic, it killed 72,000 people last year, and this is the things you guys want me to take over God's gift to earth, marijuana? No, absolutely not. So they sent me to rehab. Like, my roommate was literally a heroin addict. He got kicked out he got caught shooting up in the bathroom the day after they caught him smoking crack on the roof. But I was in there for 3 or 4 months, and honestly, it was a great experience. I got to meet a lot of cool people, hear their stories. You know, I really started to understand the magnitude of the opioid epidemic. It's pretty crazy. And I got to grow with these people. You know, I had to go to therapy as part of my time in rehab. I was like, this is retarded. You know, I'm in here for smoking weed. Like, this is ridiculous. What could you tell me in therapy? But actually, they focused on you. They didn't think that smoking weed was an issue at all. In fact, they dove into my childhood. You know, we talked about me, who I am as a person, you know. Okay. Why did you start smoking? Not so much that you're smoking weed. Thank God it's not anything else, but what made you even turn to that? Mm-hmm. You know, so it was really good, actually. It was then when I realized, I don't know what I needed to do. And that was quit the NFL. You know, I've been in trouble time after time with the NFL about marijuana, something that's harmless. It really lowers your glass ceiling as far as finances, you know. They defame you. For an NFL player, most of your fans are children. They paint you out to be this drug addict, and it really affects you, you know. You know, they left me in a position to choose either money or my health. And I saw with the opioid, I've taken it all. It's crazy what it does to you.
So much more addicting, and when you get into that cage of addiction, it's so much different than, hey, I'm going to wake up and smoke weed because it's going to help me.
In fact, in rehab, you learn about that. You have what you call a detox period. That's when they lock you up in this room, isolate you from everyone else for your first, 3 days, depending on what your DOC is, your drug of choice. Right. And you should see the people in there off of pills, man. The Xanax is dead.
The pills, it's like synthetic heroin.
Those painkillers will get you, and I've seen it all, so I said, fine then, you know, I'll take this stance. I'll leave, I'll give up my dream. That's what I've been doing my whole life, you know, since I was 7 years old. That's all I knew. You know, I didn't invest in doctor school or, you know, art studies or whatever it may be. You know, I had to freaking play football. That was my job, you know.
And where did you go to college?
I went to Iowa State University, the Cyclones.
Midwest, that's right.
We didn't do too much, but we did upset OSU that year. They were undefeated. We did do something up there.
Tell me about the feeling about getting drafted to the NFL. How did that feel?
You know, for me, it was a little bit different. I graduated high school in 2011, played at Iowa State as a true freshman. I actually got kicked out my junior year, so I wasn't drafted. In fact, I had to sit out a whole year after I got out of jail. I barely made into the NFL. We had this big party week called Visha, Veishea. Like every day is a different party for each individual college and our university.
Damn.
It got lit.
Right.
So on the Tuesday night, some stuff went down, and they said I started a riot. And it was a fun night. You know, I may or may not have.
Did you have your jersey on? You were
No.
just excited for the next game.
That's
You didn't
all-
start
that's
no
all it
riot.
was. That's all it
I know
was.
you know, David. Come on.
But they got me out of there.
Yep,
and
yep.
From that point, I finished my semester with like a 3.2 or something like that. And I had to drive home with my daughter. And at the time, my girlfriend, my baby mom, I was homeless for a year pretty much. Living in a 95 SS Impala. Ange and Zoe stay with her mom now. I've reached out to an agent. I just went on Google and said, hey, top 10 NFL agents. Found one that was close, reached out to him, told him my story, what I'm doing, what happened. He said, we might be able to get you to the CFL. We'll see. I'll reach out to teams. I ended up doing a one-man pro day at my high school in San Jacinto, California, and like 9 teams showed up. I ended up scoring like the second highest out of the whole combine. And I didn't even like have training or anything.
Wow.
So I got
incredible.
in undrafted with the Chiefs actually in 2015. The Chiefs put me on practice squad, and then the Cowboys picked me up week 4. The Chiefs were playing Green Bay. Practice with the Cowboys all of week 4 and or week 5, I guess, coming on. And they played the Saints, and that was my first NFL game. I played nose guard at 6'8", 265 pounds.
Damn. Who are some other players that you got to play against that some of our listeners might want to hear about?
My favorite opponent was Aaron Rodgers, for sure. We were rivals, I swear it was, man. He was,
Yeah.
I used to lay his ass out, but he would always win. You know, it's like, fuck. You know, he was just so good. He looks all old, but he actually runs pretty fast. He could get out of there. He's really elusive, and he just knows. It's like he has eyes on the back of his helmet.
Yeah.
Not just the arm strength, but the accuracy.
Oh, wow.
And the ability to throw on the run. Like, you know, Tom Brady, yeah, he's great in the pocket, right? Mm-hmm. All right, he's not so great when he's running and having to dodge and duck and roll out of there. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, on the other hand, does not like to throw in the pocket. No. He can, but he doesn't prefer it. He wants to get out there. He wants to be running and
I remember
gunning.
Brett Favre would go all the way to the other side of the field and throw on the other side of his body.
Yeah, well, Aaron Rodgers did the same shit.
So I grew up watching 2 of the best quarterbacks, I think, of my time. Brett Favre followed by Aaron Rodgers. Ricky Williams, you know, he's straight like one of my favorite running backs of all time. Had a strong stance on marijuana. Being that you know the positive effects of cannabis, how can we get our word out there to other NFL players to be like, look, more people need to hear your story. So it's very inspiring.
Honestly, I feel like as far as the NFL is concerned, and the NFL players are concerned, it's going to be tough because it takes bravery. You know, if you live in fear, it's not for you. If you live in fear, we aren't going to be able to make a change. You know, for example, I quit. You know, I took a stand. I didn't make a change. Mm-hmm. Nothing changed. Yet, I'm one person.
Right.
We need to all move together. My point is, if 80% of all the players on each team smoke weed, why don't we all make a move together? Why are we all hiding it? Why don't we all just come out the closet? You know, we all smoke. Now what, coach? You going to cut 80% of the people? No. Right. You don't have the NFL if you do that.
Most of your starting squad, you're gonna go ahead and cut them. What?
Your starters, your backup, the third string, like it's something everyone does, and not just the players, coaches do too. I was staff gonna
say
do
your
too.
Assistant coach.
And we need to say this is what it is. You're gonna stop testing for it because we're doing it, and there's nothing you can do about it. Since leaving the NFL, I'm a co-founder of the Cannabis Passport. Cannabis Passport is a rolling paper magazine, the first of its kind. Oh. So it looks like a passport. You open it up, and it's 100 hemp papers, and it's 100 filter tips. Now, these filter tips are made in the form of an advocacy magazine. So there's actually print on them. There's writing on them. It's ink. It's soy ink. So it's all good to smoke. It's all vegan. Everything is good. Well, one of the good things about Cannabis Passport is that we give you 100 papers and 100 filter tips. No one's doing that.
No one's doing that. No. When you said that downstairs, I was like, that's the first of its time.
And I think Raw has a pack where they have like 50 papers and 50 filter tips for like $5. We got the same thing for $2-3. You know, we're undercutting them when we have better product. It burns good. Everyone who sees our paper, they ask where it's from. We tell them. They say, oh, those papers don't burn well. Okay, you have a lighter. You burn them. They burn downstairs. What was it, zigzag they burn next to them? You seen all that extra? Yeah, we don't need all that. No. So you just do a burn test if anyone's ever asking about them. And so anyways, we went to a trade show, a Champs trade show in Florida. We just showed up. We didn't have a booth. We just knew there were businessmen there, and we had something we needed to get into business.
Good play.
So we walked in, finessed our way in, and just started pitching to everybody. We wanted to meet the owner, Jeff. And Jeff, he said, look, I like what you're doing. I like the cause you have, because the cannabis passport is more than rolling papers. It's advocacy. We're actually taking proceeds, and we're donating them to a Harvard study on CTE and how CBD and THC aids with neuroprotection.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, so Jeff really loved all that. So he's like, okay, welcome to the family.
And now I'm here talking to David Irving.
Hell yeah, having a good-ass podcast.
Dude.
Just chilling, high as fuck.
Yeah. And we got to continue to do this, David. No matter what city you're in, I will get on that plane. We'll take the wrapped-out van down there. We'll make it happen. Whatever we got to do, David.
However, you live out here?
I live about a couple miles down the street.
Okay, yeah, I'm fucking in Cali. It's only 3 hours away.
We are mobile. We will be there. We'll get with you. You know why? Because we're so inspired by your story. We got to continue to grow and build, and then that way you can line up some guests and some people that inspired you. And that's the thing about our podcast. We keep passing along. It's so much of a community platform. It's a universal platform of how to give back to people. David Irving, thank you so much, David.
Of course. Thank you for having me. Keep rolling up, guys. Use those cannabis passports. And y'all have a blessed day.
And where can they find you one more time so they can pull out their phone and follow you?
One more time, go to the IG. Just search David space IRVING, my government name. Just put it in top. I should come up verified. David Gerard Irving.
Everyone clap hands when I do.
Sometimes I feel like I'm channeling energy, and what I produce are the keys to the spaceship.
Welcome to the Bakercast.
Warning, please keep out of reach of children, and for use by adults 21 years of age and older.
This is the Bakercast, the official Jerome Baker Podcast on JeromeBaker.com.
We are the voice of the cannabis community. It's a cannabis revolution right now. Right. We're changing the world that we're living in, and it starts with one bud at a time.
Thank you for joining us. This is the Bakercast, the official Jerome Baker Podcast on JeromeBaker.com.